Good morning, dear. Today, and after we talked about the parts of the triangle, angles, sides, and vertices, after we know how to construct the triangle and talked about the particular lines that can be drawn, I'm talking about median, height bisector, and perpendicular bisector. Today, we will talk about types of triangles, and we will start with the isosceles triangle. If I want to classify the triangle according to their angles, up till now we mentioned the three types. Acute triangle that has three angles, each one of them less than 90. I mean, there are three acute angles. A right triangle that has a right angle, and an obtuse triangle that has an obtuse angle which is greater than 90 degree. But to classify them by sides, there are types like equilateral triangle is a triangle having three equal sides and three equal angles. What's the measure of each one of them? I know that the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degree. Now, I'm telling you that the three angles are equal, so each one of them equals to 180 divided by 3, which is 60 degree. The other type is isosceles triangle, and that's what we will talk about today. An isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two equal sides. It has a main vertex or principal vertex holding the two equal sides, and the other two angles, which are adjacent to the base, are called base angles. And the rule says that the base angles of isosceles are equal. Another type, a scalene triangle that doesn't have equal sides. Each one of its sides has different length. Now, let's see them. Again, what are the types of triangle? Equilateral triangle is a triangle that has three equal sides. Okay, and three equal angles. For example, the blue triangle here, the first, the second, and the third sides are equal to each other, and the three angles are equal to each other. Each one of them is 60 degrees. In isosceles triangle, there are two equal sides. These sides have the same length, and the base angles of isosceles are equal. The vertex that is holding the two equal sides is called main vertex or principal vertex. A scalene triangle is a triangle having sides of different length. All the sides and angles have different measures. For example, the red triangle here, each side has different length and each angle is different from the other angle. Another type is a right triangle, like the yellow triangle here. It has a right angle, so these two sides are perpendicular to each other, and we know that right triangle has a measure of 90 degrees. Now, let's talk in details about isosceles triangle. It's a triangle that has one main vertex opposite to the base. The main vertex is a vertex holding the two equal sides, and two angles at the base are called base angles of isosceles. They are always equal to each other. We should memorize that the median relative to the base, the height relative to the base, the bisector of the main angle, and the perpendicular bisector of the base is overlapping. Overlapping means occupying the same space. So the median is at the same time I'm talking about the median should from the principal or main vertex is at the same time the height, the bisector, and the perpendicular bisector. Let's see how and what am I talking about. Here is a triangle ABC. Given that AB equal to AC, so A is the main vertex. It's the vertex holding the two equal sides. The side opposite to the main vertex is called the base, BC. Now, the angles ABC and ACB are equal. Why? Because base angles of isosceles are equal. It's a rule. Now, what is this? AM, let's look together, is perpendicular to BC. So AM is the height relative to BC. It's the height should from the main vertex perpendicular to the opposite side. So AM is the height relative to BC. But if we look well, BM equals to MC. So M is the midpoint of BC. So AM is also a median relative to BC. What about it's perpendicular passing through the midpoint? So AM is also a perpendicular bisector of BC. Now let's look at the angles. Here they put the same sign at BAM and MAC, so I can clearly say that they are equal angles. And since the adjacent angles are equal, so AM is the bisector. Again, as I told you, it's an isosceles triangle. The main vertex is A. So the median should from the main vertex in an isosceles triangle is at the same time a height, a bisector, and a perpendicular bisector. And that's what I mean by saying overlapping. It's at the same time median, height, the bisector, and the perpendicular bisector. And I'm talking only about the segment issued from the main vertex. Okay, not from the other vertices, only from the main vertex. Now, this is our figure again. M is the midpoint of BC, then AM is a median relative to BC. AM is perpendicular to BC, so AM is a height relative to BC. I'm repeating in order to hear them again, to understand them well. Okay? BAM equals to MAC, then AM is the bisector of this angle, which is BAC. And AM perpendicular to BC at its midpoint M, so AM is the perpendicular bisector of BC. Here, this note, you should memorize it. In isosceles triangle, the perpendicular bisector passes through the main vertex. I told you before that the perpendicular bisector is a line perpendicular to a segment at its midpoint. Okay, there is no necessary to pass it through the vertex. It's a special case in isosceles triangle. The perpendicular bisector passes through the main vertex. Now, with the practice, please, you have to focus well at the figure. I'll explain the figure to you. EFG is a triangle. We have that FH equals to FG. So H is what? If I have two equal sides, FH equal to HG, then H is the midpoint of FG, and EF equal to EG, so it's an isosceles triangle of main vertex E, the base FG, the base angles are EFG and EGF, and the base angles of isosceles are equal. What about EH? It's perpendicular to FG, so it's a height. FG, I told you that H is the midpoint of FG, so EH is a segment issued from vertex E, which is the main vertex, perpendicular to FG at its midpoint H. So what do we call it? And you have to find the missing angle in each of these two cases. I trust you. I know that you can solve it, so please try your best. If you have any question, you can contact me. Okay? Thank you for your attention.